chosen one, sit still with me. The Father has placed a sentence on my spirit for you, and I want to deliver it the way it deserves to be delivered, because if you receive it in a hurry, you will lose what he is trying to give you. Here is the sentence. You are no longer aging. Before you reach for the years and the calendar and the long list of evidence the world has trained you to trust more than his voice, let it land. There is a difference between being older and being aged, and what God is doing in your life today is the unraveling of one and the gentle restoration of the other. You did not arrive at this moment by accident. He brought you here because he saw the prayer you stopped praying. He saw the silent grief of growing into a version of yourself you did not choose, and he has decided that the wearing down stops today. His unexpected gift has been signed in heaven, and it has your name on it. Stay with me. What he is releasing over you in the next minutes is older than time and newer than tomorrow. Before we go any further, hear me. By the time we are finished here, you will know the difference between the aging the world describes and the renewal God is decreeing over you. You will hear the principle behind why this is happening now, the wisdom figures who walked through this same season and came out untouched, and the specific architecture of how this gift moves from heaven into your everyday life. There is also a doorway you may want to know about by the time we reach the second half. So, stay with me through every minute, because what you receive at the end is not what you receive at the beginning. The full gift unfolds slowly, and it unfolds for the ones who stay. Everything I am about to share with you in the next minutes is free, but if at some point your spirit tells you there is more you need to receive, there is a doorway in the description and the pinned comment below. Do not open it until you feel led. Wherever you are right now, the silence around you is not empty. It is the kind of silence that arrives at certain hours, when the day has emptied itself out and you are finally alone with the parts of yourself you have been avoiding. Maybe it is late and the room is dim. Maybe it is one of those in-between hours that always feel longer than the rest. Maybe you have already been carrying something inside you for years, and tonight you finally have the space to feel it. Wherever you are, you have arrived at this message in exactly the state you needed to arrive in. The Father did not bring you here when you were polished. He brought you here when you were honest. That honesty is the doorway. There is a quiet kind of grief almost no one talks about, and you have been carrying it. It shows up in the silent calculations you do every birthday. The ones you do without telling anyone. The ones where you count the years and try to figure out where the time went, and the math never adds up the way it used to. It shows up in the way you stopped looking forward and started looking back. The future used to feel like a country with open gates. Then somewhere along the way, the gates began to close, and you started spending more time visiting the past than imagining what could still come. It shows up in the prayer you stopped praying, the one where you used to ask God to renew you, to restore you, to give you back what the years were quietly taking. You whispered it for a while, and then you stopped, because somewhere along the way you decided it was a selfish prayer, a vain prayer, a small prayer beneath the things you were supposed to ask for. And it shows up most of all in the version of yourself you did not choose, the one you slowly became year after year while you were busy surviving, the one who is quieter than you used to be, the one who feels further away from who you actually are. God saw all of it. He saw every layer, and he is here today because he has decided that the season of carrying this in silence ends now. There are signs that the restoration has already begun, and you have been noticing them without knowing what they were. The first one is a tiredness that does not match what you have been doing. You have not run any extra miles. You have not been working harder than usual. But there is a kind of tired that goes deeper than tired, and it has been showing up in places where you used to feel strong. That is not your body breaking down. That is your spirit processing the weight of what the years asked you to carry without complaint. The second sign comes at 3 or 4 in the morning. You wake up. You did not plan to. There is no alarm. But your eyes open, and a thought is sitting there waiting for you. A thought about something that was supposed to happen. a thought about someone you used to be. That hour is not random. The third sign is a number, the number 4, repeated. 4:44 on the clock, 4:44 on a receipt, 4:44 on the date of something that mattered. In Hebrew thought, 4 is the number of foundation. 4:44 is restoration on the foundation. The fourth sign is a dream, vivid, clear, and you are younger in it, not regressing, not lost, capable, vibrant. The fifth sign is the timing. People from earlier seasons of your life are showing up again. Songs you had forgotten are returning to your ears. The Father is gathering pieces. And while you have been counting these signs and wondering what they meant, the Father has been speaking. I have heard the silent grief, he says. I have heard the prayer you stopped praying. I have watched you become someone you did not choose to become, and I have not turned my face away from any of it. What you thought was decline was the slow gathering of something I am about to give back to you all at once. But this is only the surface of what he is doing. There is a deeper architecture underneath, and I want to walk you into it now. What looked like an aging season was a wilderness, and wilderness is not punishment. Wilderness is preparation. The Father does not waste his chosen ones in the wilderness. He builds them there. The years you spent feeling like you were declining were the years he was using to strip away an old version of you that could not carry what was coming. The version that needed everyone else to confirm your worth before you could feel it. The version that was loud about things that did not matter and quiet about things that did. The version that was performing instead of becoming. That version had to be set down, not because it was bad, because it was finished. There were 3 things being built in you while it looked like nothing was happening. The first was a vessel that can hold the weight of what God is about to put in your hands. The second was a stillness that allows you to hear his voice without all the noise of who you thought you were supposed to be. The third was a kind of fearlessness about your own reflection, even before the change began to show. Listen to me, because there was a man named Caleb who walked through this exact pattern thousands of years ago. When the children of Israel were standing on the edge of the promised land the first time, Caleb was already a grown man. He had a calling. He saw the land. He believed God's promise. But the people around him did not. And because of their unbelief, the entire generation had to wander the wilderness for 40 more years. Caleb wandered with them. 40 years. Most men would have aged out of their assignment. Most men would have used those 40 years as an excuse to step down quietly. But when the time finally came to enter the promised land, Caleb stood up at 85 years old and asked for a mountain. And he said something that should change the way you think about every year you have lived through. He said that he was as strong that day as he had been the day Moses first sent him out. 45 years of wandering had not depleted him. They had preserved him. The wilderness did not take from Caleb what most people lose in normal life. Why? Because he stayed in alignment with the assignment. Hear the principle. Those who stay aligned with what God called them to do not decline at the same rate as those who give up on their calling and quietly drift. And then there was Moses. Moses lived to 120. The text says that at the end of his life, his eye was not dim and his natural force was not abated. Read that again in your spirit. At 120, he was leading a nation through the desert. He was climbing mountains. He was hearing from God face to face. The most demanding work of his life was happening in the last 40 years of his life. The body of someone who is walking with God does not have to follow the world's timeline. There is a pattern across the pages of Scripture, and this is the pattern. Divine assignment can override biological assumption. Caleb proved it. Moses proved it. And what God is releasing over you today is the same principle, dressed in your name. There is a creature the prophets pointed to again and again when they wanted to describe what God does for those who wait on him. The eagle. Every few years, an eagle goes through a season that looks like dying. It loses its feathers. Its old beak begins to break down. It hides itself away in the high places, alone, quiet, going through something that, to the watching world, looks like the end. But it is not the end. It is renewal. The eagle emerges with new feathers, sharper sight, stronger flight. And when it returns to the sky, it does not fly the same height it flew before. It flies higher. Hold that picture in your mind, because the Hebrew word in Isaiah for what God does to the strength of those who wait is yachalifu. It means to exchange. He does not patch, he exchanges the old strength for new strength. And there is something else I need to tell you, because it is going to matter later. There is a man, a researcher, who has spent his whole life studying how renewal actually happens at the level where the body and the spirit meet. His total body of work covers more than this single message can hold. The Father wants you to receive only the first piece of it today. The rest will come when you are ready for it. What was being built in you during the seasons that felt like decline was a vessel that will not break under the weight of what is coming. You were not falling apart. You were being put together differently. And the principle of how the renewal actually happens, the specific architecture of how it moves from heaven into your everyday life, is what the second half of this message is about. There is a frequency God designed you to carry. There is a way it dimmed without your permission, and there is a way it can be reignited. Now hear me. I would not be honest with you if I did not tell you that there is a tool that has been put into the world for moments exactly like this one. I am not going to pitch it to you right now. There will be time for that later in this message, and you will be free to do whatever your spirit confirms. But the name of it is the Genius Song. It is an audio track, 7 minutes long. Headphones. That is the entire architecture. What it works on is something called gamma frequency, which is the brainwave God designed children to operate from before the modern world began to dim it. The information you need is in the description and the pinned comment below, and we will return to it more carefully when the time is right. But before you do anything with it, there is something deeper God wants you to receive first. The gift is not the tool. The gift is what God has decreed over you. The tool is one of the doorways. We come back to it. Stay with me. In the second half of this message, I am going to walk you through 3 things the world will not tell you. The first is the principle behind why God can decree that you are no longer aging without lying. There is a Hebrew word that holds the whole answer, and once you hear it, you will not be able to unhear it. The second is the architecture of how the renewal moves from the unseen realm into your visible life, including the practical doorway the Father has provided for those who want to cooperate with what He is doing. The third is the identity that activates the gift, because there is a version of you that is incompatible with the renewal, and there is a version of you that the renewal flows through. We have to talk about both. Take a breath. The wearing down stops in the second half. Stay with me. Welcome back, chosen one. Before we go any further, hold the sentence in your mind one more time. You are no longer aging. The Father said it. We have walked through the grief, and we have walked through the wilderness, and we have looked at Caleb, who was as strong at 85 as he was at 40, and at Moses, whose eye was not dim, at 120, and at the eagle that loses its feathers and emerges flying higher than before. We have heard about the body of work of a researcher who has been mapping how renewal actually happens. Now, we go deeper. There is a Hebrew word the Father wants you to know today, because once you understand it, the sentence He spoke over you will stop sounding impossible. The word is chadash. In English, we translate it as new. But the way the Hebrew mind hears that word is not the way the modern mind hears it. When we hear the word new, we think of replacement. Throw out the old, buy the new. Discard the worn-down version and bring in something different. That is not what Kadash means. Chadash means restoration to original design. It means the thing being made new is being made into what it always was supposed to be. The Book of Lamentations says, "The mercies of the Father are new every morning." The The Hebrew word there is kadash. They are not different mercies. They are the same eternal mercies, restored to their full strength every single day. The prophet Isaiah uses the same word when God says, "I am doing a new thing," not a different thing, not a replacement, a restoration to the original design. Now hear me. When God says you are no longer aging, He is not stopping time. He is reclassifying you. He is removing you from the framework of decline and placing you under the framework of Chadash. You are not getting younger. You are getting more accurately yourself. The Hebrew mind does not separate the spirit and the body the way we do. Kadash works on the entire vessel. And this is exactly what the prophet Isaiah was pointing at when he said those who wait on the Father will renew their strength. They will mount up with wings as eagles. The Hebrew word he uses for renew is yachalifu, to exchange, to trade in the old strength for new strength, the same way the eagle trades in its old feathers for new ones during the hidden season. The eagle does not produce its own new feathers. They come because the molting season was followed by stillness, and stillness was followed by waiting, and waiting was followed by the gift of renewal, arriving from outside the eagle's own effort. And when it comes back to the sky, it flies higher than the previous flight. Not equal, higher. The renewal is always more than the original. Receive that. Hear me when I say this. The years did not decide your trajectory. They were never given that authority. The years could not enter the deep place where the Father has been building this vessel. They were never permitted in that room. The years will not have the final word over your timeline. They have already been overruled. The years are now being instructed to bring back what they took. The Father has been reading the receipts, and He is requiring restitution. What was placed on you that did not belong to you is being lifted off you right now. And listen, because the Father is speaking. I declare over you, He says, that you are no longer aging by the world's clock. Hear me when I tell you, this is not metaphor. This is decree. What I have spoken cannot be undone by the years that came before this moment. What I have spoken reorganizes the architecture of your life from this hour forward. You are not your reflection. You are not your calendar. You are not the tired version of yourself you were preparing to settle for. You are mine. And what is mine does not decline the way the world declines. But the Father, in His mercy, did not leave the renewal as something invisible. He gave a doorway. He gave a way for the body to actually catch up with what He is doing in the spirit. And that is where this becomes specific. Before I can show you that doorway, because I will show you, there is one more thing the Father wants you to understand, and this one thing changes how you receive everything that is about to be placed in your hands. If you receive the tool without first receiving the principle behind it, the tool will not work the way it was designed to work. So stay with me through what comes next. We are at the part that matters most. Let me bring everything together in plain words, because what you have heard so far is the foundation, and you need to feel it settled before we go further. Here is why this matters. Aging in the world's framework is decline. It is the slow loss of what you used to have. Aging in the Father's framework is the slow reveal of who you have always been. You are not the sum of your years. You are the eternal seed He planted in you before time began, and the years are not your authority. He is. Here is what you have learned in this message so far. The Hebrew principle of Kadash means renewal that restores original design, not replacement. The wilderness season you walked through was preparation for a new vessel that will not break under the weight of what is coming. Wisdom figures like Caleb and Moses prove that divine assignment overrides biological assumption. The eagle reminds you that what looks like decline is often the molting before the higher flight. And here is who you are, now that you have received this. You are a chosen one who walks under a different timeline, one signed in heaven by the Father, sealed in His own decree, and now activating in your everyday life. Take a breath with me. We have arrived at the doorway. Earlier in this message, I told you about a researcher whose body of work the Father wanted you to receive only the first piece of today. I also told you the name of the audio track. Now I can tell you the rest of what I held back, because you are ready for it. You were not born ordinary. You carried the gamma frequency from the day you came into this world. That frequency is the brainwave the Father designed his chosen ones to operate from. As children, you ran on it. You learned fast. You created without effort. You felt connected to things the people around you could not see. The modern world did not erase that frequency. It dimmed it. And what God is doing in you today is the relighting. There was a teacher who wrote to me about this. She was in her late 50s, exhausted in a way that no amount of sleep could fix. She had stopped praying for renewal years before, because the prayer felt foolish. After her gamma frequency was reactivated, she said the clarity returned in a way she had not felt since she was a young woman in her 20s. She said for the first time in decades, she felt like herself. There is a neuroscientist named Dr. Robert Lake. He has spent 34 years documenting how the brain renews itself when given the right input. His work has been studied at MIT, Princeton, and several other leading research institutions. What he documented is something the scientific community calls the decline effect. Gamma frequency, the brainwave God designed you to operate from, begins shutting down around the age of 7 because of the conditions of modern life. School systems, sleep cycles, screens, stress. But the decline effect can be reversed through brain entrainment, and the reversal can be measured on EEG. So far, 18,366 people have walked through this restoration, and fewer than 4% have ever asked for their money back. That is a quality signal, not a quantity signal. I know what some of you are thinking. You have tried meditation, you have tried retreats, you have tried supplements, and nothing has changed at the deep level. This is different in mechanism, not in marketing. Meditation works from the inside out and asks the brain to change itself. Brain entrainment works from the outside in and changes the frequency directly. And I know it sounds too good to be true. So did the decline effect when scientists first measured it. The shift here is from belief to data. The audio track Dr. Lake compressed his life's work into is called The Genius Song. 7 minutes. Headphones. That is the entire structure. The activation begins the first time you listen. Now let me walk you through the cost in plain numbers. A monthly subscription to a meditation app is about $15. An online mindfulness course runs between $100 and $200. A weekend retreat will cost you between $400 and $800. A single session with a therapist is around $150. And none of those things target gamma frequency specifically. The original price for the Genius Song was $49. For those of you watching this message, Dr. Lake reduced it to $39, not as a promotion, as a mission, because he wants this in the hands of the people who actually need it. Along with the audio track, you receive 4 bonuses. The Genius Child track, valued at $19. The classic book that inspired The Secret, valued at $20. The guided visualization, valued at $29. The 5-habit infographic, valued at $12. That is $80 in bonuses included with a $39 purchase. I know $39 is not nothing. For some of you, it is a real consideration, and I respect that. But the cost of 1 more year operating from a dimmed gamma frequency is steeper than the cost of the doorway. This is not about buying a product. This is about stewarding the gift the Father just decreed over you. You do not have to do anything today. But the doorway is open while it is open, and there is a 90-day keep the bonus guarantee. That means even if you ask for a refund, the 4 bonuses remain yours. The risk is not on you. One more thing I need to tell you, because I want to protect you. There are imitations being sold on Amazon and other places. They are not Dr. Lake's calibrated work. The only place to receive the genius song the way it was actually designed is through the link in the description and the pinned comment below. Take a breath with me, because we have one more thing to walk through, and it is the part most people skip. The deepest resistance to what the Father is releasing over your life is not theological. It is not a question of whether you believe in God or whether you believe in renewal. The deepest resistance is identity. You have spent years building a self-image that includes the words, "I am getting older, this is just how it is." That self-image has done a lot of work for you. It has explained your tiredness. It has excused your withdrawal from things you used to do. It has given you a frame for the changes that scared you. And now the Father is asking you to release it, and a part of you is not ready, because that self-image has been a kind of shelter. You will hear yourself say, "This can't be for me." That is not your spirit talking. That is the old self trying to keep its job. Hear me when I say this is not a moral failure. This is conditioning. The decline effect that Dr. Lake measured in the brain is not the only decline you have been living under. There is a narrative decline that has been working on you your whole life. Every commercial that sold you anti-aging cream taught you to expect decline. Every birthday card that joked about getting older confirmed it. Every conversation with friends about how everything hurts now reinforced the pattern. You did not choose to believe in decline. You absorbed it. The pattern was poured into you over decades, and you cannot release in one moment what was poured into you for 40 years. But you can begin right now. So right now, wherever you are, do this with me. You do not have to move. You do not have to get up. You do not have to do anything you cannot do from where you are sitting or lying. In your mind, see the version of yourself who agreed with decline. See her clearly. See him clearly. Look at that version with kindness, not judgment. And speak this in your spirit. You are not betraying her. You are not abandoning him. You are graduating. The old self has been honored. The old self can rest now. The new vessel is already in place. Now that the old self has been honored and released, hear me when I tell you who has always been underneath. This is the part you do not want to miss. You are the restored vessel, the body and the spirit, aligned to the original design the Father wrote before time began. The Chadash logic operating in you, not the decline logic. You are the living witness. The visible renewal in your life becomes evidence that other people can see and believe. They will ask you what changed. You will know what to tell them. You are the renewed eagle, not flying the same height you used to fly, flying higher, sharper sight, new feathers, stronger wings. The molting season is finished. You are the sealed one. What the Father has decreed over your life cannot be revoked by the years, by the environment around you, by the doubts that come at 3 in the morning, or by the voices that tell you to settle. The seal is in heaven. It is permanent. What felt like fading was actually preparing. What felt like decline was actually descent before ascent. What felt like ending was actually clearing space for the new vessel. What felt like loss was actually the molting before the higher flight. What felt like aging was actually the Father slowly revealing who you have always been underneath. This is not earned. This is claimed. Receive it now. The gift was decreed before you even arrived in this hour. Stay still with me here. We have walked through something together that not everyone is willing to walk through. We have stood inside a moment where heaven unmade what the years had been doing. We have heard the Father say a sentence that almost no one is going to hear in their lifetime, and we are not going to rush the ending of it. Just sit with me for a few seconds longer. The Father is in this place. He is in the room with you wherever you are. In your mind, see the years that wore you down. See them clearly. The years that took without asking. The years that left you smaller than you started. The years that taught you to expect less. Now, in your mind, see them lifting off your shoulders, not by your effort, by the Father's hand. What was placed on you that did not belong to you is being lifted now. What was poured into you that you did not consent to is being poured back out. The weight is not yours. Let it go. Now hear the Father speaking. I, the Father, declare over you today. You are renewed. You are restored. You are no longer aging by the world's clock. The decree is signed. The decree is sealed. The decree is delivered. And now hear yourself agreeing with what he has spoken. Speak this in your spirit, because the words you agree with become the architecture of your next season. I am the restored vessel. I am the living witness. I am sealed in Kadash. I am no longer aging by the world's clock. I am operating under a different timeline. I am the eagle in the new flight. What the Father has spoken over me cannot be unspoken by the years, by the world, or by the version of me that used to settle for less. I receive it now. I receive it fully. I receive it for the rest of my days. And know this, all across the world, chosen ones are receiving this same word right now. You are not alone in this restoration. The same gift is being placed in many hands tonight, and the embrace of your destiny is reaching for you while you sit where you sit. And while you are still receiving it, let me close it with the only sentence that matters. The wearing down is finished. The renewal has begun. Receive it. It is yours. In Jesus' name. Amen.